It was my neighbor who had told them that they had me unlock the door. That means that somebody was in the house, otherwise they would have left. And so they kept knocking and knocking and knocking, and eventually I tiptoed to the door and looked, and I could see the badges on their chest. Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. As I shared in the last episode, as I was having these recurring dreams of spending life in a federal penitentiary, but somehow I also had this impression that even if I got arrested, I would not spend more than 2 years in prison. And as I would share that with my wife, and my wife was like, 2 years? Who's going to wait for 2 years? Having been newly married. And then I continued with the car business, having given people the impression that I had left the United States. I laid low, lived a low profile life. I had bought a brand new Camry for my wife because I shipped all my cars back to Nigeria by then. Bought a brand new Camry for her, and then I was using a Toyota Corolla, her own car. Which people wouldn't expect to see me in that type of vehicle. And so we kept a low profile, but somehow, not knowing that the authorities were still hot after my tail, somebody had told them where my wife was working at the headquarters office of Western Union. And so they went to the office, and they trailed her after work to the house. And so that's how they located the house. And then I think that was in December of '94, just before Christmas. And I remember that a friend of mine, a family friend, had come from Nigeria, the major in the military, said, "Hey, what are you doing in America? Come, let's go." And he was to leave like in 2 days' time. So let's go back to Nigeria. And I was like, no man, I'm not ready to go. And so on the 3rd of January 1995, they came and they knocked at the door. And I remember that I was in the bedroom watching a basketball game. It was my neighbor who had told them that they had me unlock the door. That means that somebody was in the house, otherwise they would have left. And so they kept knocking and knocking and knocking, and eventually I tiptoed to the door and looked, and I could see the badges on their chest. And I tiptoed back to the visitor's toilet. I called my wife. I told her, see, this is what is happening. I didn't want her to hear it from somebody else. And then eventually I opened the door and they came. They were quite nice, gentle. I had some cash actually, about $12,000 that I made from car sales. And so they didn't touch jewelry, the cash, they didn't touch that. They just picked me. And one of them said, no, don't leave him, he's a gentleman, And they took me quietly to the detention center in downtown Houston. Now, my plan of not spending more than 2 years, even if I was arrested, was that even if I got arrested, that I will find a way of escape within 2 years. And I just felt that I could do it because I felt like my money and connections would help me to swing it. But lo and behold, eventually I was flown from Houston to Dallas, where my case originated from. They put me in the detention center, and my case was all over the news media, print and electronic media, and the newspapers and all. The Christians there felt like They kept coming to me, asking me to give my life to Christ because they felt like if they could get me, they would have gotten a big fish. And each time they come, I would rebuff them, and instead, I was seriously trying to make plans of escape from that detention center. But the place was almost airtight. It wasn't like a prison setting, so it was much more difficult to pull such a thing. And then while I was there, I got into a gambling habit in a card game called Spade. Within 3 months, I had mastered it, and I was making money from the other inmates there, being a federal detention center. So we have quite a number of people that had money, and I didn't have need to now bring money from us. I had engaged some lawyers that would help me to fight the case. They advised me properly, and they now began to make arrangements to make a deal, plea bargain with the federal authorities. And in the next episode, I'll begin to tell you how it all ended up. Thank you, and God bless you.
Okay, people. Henry went legit and began to do some other business, car business. And for some time, he thought America forgot. Oh, in a system where things work, you don't forget just like that. They were still looking for him. Eventually, somebody told on him where his wife worked, and began to trace him. The Kingpin was arrested, put in the detention center. Christians will come to talk to him because of the uproar, the press uproar. This thing was covered nationwide. Henry rebuffed them. But what I will tell you, God had him where he wanted him. Invisible hand. The story is getting more interesting. You will hear what happened. Please subscribe to this channel. Send this video to your friends. Get them interested in this story. Somebody's life is going to change. Send these videos. Send them out to encourage what God is doing. Thank you very much.